and welcome to another edition of Garden Shed Mosque. There was some comments in my last video, so I'll address a couple of them first. First off, I wasn't going to do the Pride. Yes, I've got a Pride video still editing, but in a minute, because I've decided events have happened, which I'll explain in a minute, I'll leave that for another week or two. People say, why do you become a Muslim? And the thing is, I'm self-British, and I've looked at Islam and read the Quran, and yes, there's good things in it, but as I said before, there's also some bad things in it, and there's also a bad community, and the bad community is these second and third generation Muslims that come live in this, born in this country, causing all the trouble. They want an Islamic country, an Islamic capital. Well, I just want to live in the West. Yeah, I like to go to the mosque and, you know, pray and this, that and the other, and eat Islamic food and, you know, read the Quran. But, you know, there's a lot of things I disagree with, which I mentioned early on in some of the other videos, like the burqa and hijab and stuff like that, and the misogyny, and of course Sharia law, which is absolutely a bit extreme. Although I do think it should be a referendum on capital punishment, but probably nitrogen rather than getting beheaded. But anyway, so the video really is about events that have happened in the last few days, and we'll start off with the airport drama at Manchester Airport. Seen video clips, yes, horrific, but we still haven't seen the clips of what happened to start with. Apparently the story goes, the guys brought the mother back from Pakistan, India or whatever, and she's getting searched at the airport, you know. After 9/11, which we were all blamed for, the Muslims were blamed for, you know, that's the right thing to do. At the end of the day, she was getting searched by a woman, and then obviously the guy started to intervene and do a bit all needs her. You knew very well what the law is in the West. You know there's security checks regardless, well, for, you know, the purposes for them, but no, you kicked off and put someone's face. By the sounds of it though, we haven't seen the videos, we haven't seen the webcam, we haven't seen the body cams, but I think it was an extremely violent attack, and you were very violent, and I had to put you down. Now, I've seen fighters before in nightclubs and bars, lads that are like natural fighters, or obviously people who are professional, something turn out of them being boxers or gangsters or security guards. But I mean, you know, you have some guys in the streets that have got a natural talent for fighting, and they have no empathy to what to do when they get to a blind rage, and sometimes they've got to be put down in a severe manner. And this is what, because you've seen the clip of the Berlin police officer, who was an armed police officer and must have been well trained, put him down. It must have been a very violent incident, and it was the only way to settle it. I don't know, because we've seen it on other videos on YouTube where there have been fights where tasers have been used and have not been effective. So we don't know the story, but unfortunately, due to the fact that we've only seen part of the video, we're now judging whatever, and now we've got the rush to the rise. Instead of like leaving it to the law yet again, Muslims take the streets and causing trouble with the police. And of course the police, the big mistake with the police and the Home Secretary and the government is sitting down and just bowing down to it all, instead of putting down. But this is the Conservative Party really. What they should have done was the Hamas violent riots in the town, in London, the London city centre, almost every weekend since last year, should have been nipped in the bud straight away. But then again, you have a Muslim supportive crime commissioner, Sadiq Khan, and his lapdog, Samart Rowley, who should never ever be a police officer, because at the end of the day, no matter what, British law comes first before anything else. And at the end of the day, if you can't interpret that properly, then you shouldn't be in the job. But never mind. So we've got this Manchester thing. And at the end of the year, I mentioned Surah 2:180, 2:27, Surah 9:67, Surah 10:30, Surah 21:67. But what it is generally, you accept the laws of the country, you know, you don't get violent at people, you do not start, you know, it says, you know, do not start the problems. I mean, was it 2-180 is, I believe, fight was offence against you, but never begin hostilities, and it's never be the transgressors. Because you started all, this is what caused all the trouble now, and it's escalated yet again. So there's that. So without, no, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be like a George Floyd, where, you know, some violent scumbags going to come and get off, and the police officer in question, who's trying to stop the situation escalating even more, gets banged up or sacked or whatever, and it's going to be hung out to dry. So I'm surprised that the police. I understand why people don't want to join the police force anymore. So there you go. But anyway, there's that. So yeah, you make your comments and say your opinions, or you're pro police or pro this, that, and the other. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, one seems part of the video, and you can say, well, yeah, well, it wasn't necessary to do all something ahead, but we've never seen the violence beforehand, so we can't really judge. So that's my opinion. As I say, I might be wrong. Yes, it was harsh, and the police officer made a big mistake, and yes, he's going to go down. But you should have thought that. But when you see red sometimes, when things get too much to be seen as female colleague getting done in, I don't know. So very hard to say what will people do in that situation. The next thing is the Army officer, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Trenton, very much like Lee Rigby, and it's a Negro, and it's apparently a port person to come over on the boat. So who can we blame for the stabbing? Conservative Party, Labour Party, Tony Blair, who started all in the first place, the RNLI, the Civil Service, House of Lords. They're all putting a knife in that officer's back. Now, I'm ex-army, so at the end of the day, I've done served time in the army. And yes, you're Lieutenant Colonel, so I would sometimes say, oh, Rupert or Rodney. But at the end of the day, you know, he's a very good rank, so he must be very good, because I mean, the Lieutenant Colonels usually run a regiment. And so, you know, it's the guy was just in his military uniform going about his business. We're not at war with anybody, and at the end of the day, some Negro just stabs them for no reason whatsoever. Well, I know about Negroes. Just have a look at Surah 3, 106 and 107. But, you know, you're not meant to kill. So, I mean, Surah 284 says that. It says so in the Bible. You know, it says so in the Torah. All Abrahamic religions, thou must not kill. Especially an innocent. And this, obviously he's not dead, but at the end of the day he could have done, and that was his intention. What's he going to get? Slap the wrist. He should be jailed and then deported and never come back. Any family here should be reported with him, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, you know, we can go about Surah 967, 1030, 1044, 1335, and it's, this man is a maniac. There's too many people coming off. Thank you, Border Force. All these people are coming into the country, we don't know who they are. They've been told us time and time again. Same happened in Ireland. People are kicking off and they're just arresting the British people and the Irish people, and the arrogant people in charge have been voted in and think and do what they want and say what they want. And this is why it's going to fail and it's going to get worse. I mean, how many more migrants are going to put in this country? How many houses are you going to build? How are you going to resource and feed them? Ridiculous, absolutely stupid. It happens in another country. Oh, sorry, it's happening in America now with like Biden, that idiot. They're trying to do it in Australia, but Australia fought back a bit. And in Europe, the EU were trying to, but you know, like Hungary and Poland are trying to push back and say, bog off. So this is why everything's changing now. That's what Marine Le Pen nearly got in, if it wasn't for like a left-wing coalition fraud. And there we go, Ajem Choudry. This is why my argument is with westernized Muslims who want to try and, instead of going back to live in Afghanistan or live in Iran or Iraq, they want to come here and change this, westernize an Islamic State. No, this causes more trouble and more accessory and more death than anything else. This man is a jinn. This man is satanic and should be removed. He should be taken, transferred to America for trial there. But unfortunately, he'd probably get off there because we've got that Kamala Harris, who's an absolute idiot, and Biden, the woman Alzheimer's ridden fool. Yet people who want to put America, make America great, and put it back to where it was, people like Trump slagged off. But there you go. So what are they going to do with Choudry? Life, but they'll probably get released again. So, you know, unless you get like someone like Reform in and bring back the bill and death penalty and a referendum. I mean, at the end of the day, if someone had caused a crime like that in Saudi Arabia, they'll have their head chopped off. And there we go. Finally, the French Olympics. Oh my God. Allah, what? I mean, this Thomas Jolly. Who do you think you are? And do you think you're going to survive this? I don't think so. You'll be watching your back for the rest of your life. Especially that fat cow who tried to come and references Jesus and all the other women trying to. And notice the young little girl in the middle of the table. Now, if that doesn't stink of you know what, I don't know what does. But at the end of the day, that is absolutely shocking. I mean, the Quran goes on about Testament and gospel stories, everything from Abraham to Moses to the Exodus to, you know, Noah, Joseph, 10 children. Everything's in there that's mentioned, that's in the Bible, is mentioned in the Quran, and that's because it was Allah's bidding, God's bidding to do what was done. So what you're doing by doing that last sort of parody is not only insulting Christianity, you're insulting Islam and Judaism as well. And I'm absolutely horrified by it all. I mean, yes, people used to whinge about Salvador Dali, you know, or and this, but Dali on the wall last summer, and I was thinking it's really, really good. But this is not. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got transvestites and you've got like homosexuals and you've got little girls in the middle of the table, no, that's absolutely horrendous what's being done. And the horse of the apocalypse. So what you're saying is that Revelation's coming? I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't seem far off now. If this is not the last vestiges of Satan, I do not know what is. I don't know. Battles are going to rain down above us shortly. They've got to. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, Allah must be so fed up with what's been going on in the world today. It's absolutely horrendous. I mean, the pride thing, which I'll hopefully re-edit because it's still a bit too long and put it up shortly. I mean, you're seeing there, that's in society. There's people walking around it in the middle of the street where ordinary people do the shopping and this, that, and the other, and go about the business. They've got to see what you will see. And it's just as bad as that last summer. And these people think it's great. They're proud, which pride is obviously a sin as well, which is always also mentioned in the Quran as well as the Bible. So, at the end of the year, what we had this week, horrors. You know, Muslims fighting and getting attacked. And then we've got Muslims trying to kill people. And we've got like, you know, violent promoting clerics, seeing the downfall. But this is it. My whole idea of Islam, as people have asked why did you, my idea of Islam is to have like a mosque, or a multi-faith room, or a multi-faith church rather, where people can come and pray and worship to God, Allah, the great architect, in a peaceful surroundings. No like violence or attacks on other cultures or people. Accept the culture. If you're a Muslim in Germany, you accept German rules and regulations and culture. Same in France, same in America, same in Australia, same in any Western country. Or, well, even like Far East, like Japan or China. This is what you do. You don't go around like forcing. I know it says in the Bible, in the Quran, it says, you know, going abroad and then converting people to Islam is one of Allah's greatest and most enjoyable things, where rewards will be given out and you'll be in rivers and pastures green. But at the end of the day, yeah, it says that in the Quran, but force it on people through violence and intimidation. This is not 500 BC, 400 BC, 300 BC. Because what happened then? You had the Crusades. You had the villain Berbers in Spain. few hundred years ago, and that's the nearest to God. Islam, they're willing to become more dominant, and they got pushed back again. People are getting sick, and the continuation of this is going to end in tears. I don't see any Muslims, any Christians, or any Jews hurt or injured, or any people who Shinto, or Aurelians, or Scientologists, or Mormons, or Jehovah's Witnesses. We all live together, happily. At the end of the day, there's only one God. So at the end of the day, why was all this fighting? Why is all this trouble? Why is all this perversion? And things that are just like written in the Bible, and written in the Quran, and written in the Torah, just totally ignored, but not only ignored, stamped upon. This is when, I do believe that there was more to Sodom and Gomorrah than we know. When it was written, I believe there was more to this. This is what's happening in society now. But that was written down then because people understood what was being told. But we don't. We think it was just this, that, and the other. And I think there was more to it. And I think it's happening again. And I think Revelation is coming shortly. So I say, pray to Allah, pray to your God, and let's do the right thing. Instead of letting these perverts and deviants and anarchists and scumbags just dominate the place. Because at the end of the day, if you stick to stick to your beliefs, stick to your belief faith, then I'm sure you'll be all right. But as I say, I cry now for some of the things I say. And anyway, as I say, I had to do this video because I'm just so concerned about society in a minute, especially in the United Kingdom, and in the West in general. But I know I'll protect me and my family is my first priority, and I pray to Allah that everything will be well and good. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.